A game created and developed by Naughty Dog.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and we've got some real spicy Naughty Dog and The Last of Us 2 news. Now, I understand as an employee of a company, as somebody who's worked on a project or a product for a very long time, to see a lot of customer backlash or general backlash on the internet probably wears on somebody, and you're going to want to go out and speak out against that. And I respect someone wanting to defend themselves. We look at the other case where this happened. What was it? Jessica Price, I think her name was, from Guild Wars 2. She ended up trashing a YouTuber who was covering the game, if I remember right, or going after the customers, having this kind of breakdown on Twitter. Ended up getting fired because customers didn't like that. I think if you're an employee, while I respect your right to speak out and share your opinions, you're also an agent of that company. You're also, by extension, representing that company. I think if I were running any mainstream big company like DC or Marvel, my policy would be that you can tweet whatever you want, but you are representing this company. You're using my company for clout. Look at all the comic book creators that get to work at Marvel and then they put it in their byline immediately just to get that precious blue check mark.
But I don't want real power, because with real power comes real responsibility, and I don't want any of that shit. I just want the money and the illusion of power.
They are using your company to get internet clout. People follow them because they want to know what is going on in your particular video game. So thereby, if you are then attacking customers and blasting customers publicly, I don't think I would like that as an owner. I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to. I'm not saying they should be automatically punished. I'm just saying that it's not good business. We've seen how it's negatively affected the comic book industry. We've seen how it will negatively affect the video game industry. A perfect example is Battlefield 5. The whole don't like it, don't buy it. And if you don't like our game, then you're all sorts of ists or phobes. And the game did not sell as well as it should have. And they ended support what can only be described as early to move on to another game because that one failed in many ways, but still was enjoyed. They still made a pile of money, I suppose, but the pile wasn't as big as it could have been if they didn't go to battle with their own customers for months on end. Now, Naughty Dog is out there publicly. Their main brand is still getting bombarded. Just on May 11th, they tweeted about, check out this incredible Jack and Dexter cosplay. It is good. Looks heavily photoshopped as well, but it still looks very cool. And the top comment is, what about this Abby cosplay? And we have a putter, and we have Neil Drunkman. Too feminine. We need to reduce the male gaze. I found this cosplay from The Last of Us Part 2. Oh, man. Bob's too big. You got Neil and Anita. I can't believe they just stopped hiding it. I think they're just like, all right, well, we can't hide this anymore. We've got Jack and Dexter is better than The Last of Us 2. Well, that's easy to say. And you've got spoilers in here. They just stopped hiding it. They've given up. They've just given up because why? Why even bother anymore? You hide it. People can still see it. You're getting roasted by YouTubers. I understand it. I mean, if I'm them, I probably would endorse my social media manager to block these people. Yeah, they get to put out that post and say, ha ha ha, the Naughty Dog blocked us. But if you're coming to their feed just to purposely ruin a game for people, I don't have a problem with them hiding your comments. I really don't. I'm going to laugh at it, but ultimately, that's their decision. And if it's going to protect the customers that legitimately don't want to be spoiled, then okay. Now, to the employee, we have a very interesting conversation. Little old employee who goes by, well, I'll tell you. Let me pull up their actual Twitter feed. Okay, I'm not blocked yet. Now, Evan Hill is a level designer at Naughty Dog for The Last of Us Part 2. Okay? He also teaches level design, apparently. That's good, right? That's cool. He's entitled to a variety of his opinions. Now, he did have a conversation, though, with somebody who goes by the name of Rational Disconnect. I don't know much about them, but I do know they have a large Twitter following, and they decide, well, we disagree My Twitter feed constantly gets bombarded by their followers, which is fine. I just mute them and let them scream into the void, just like I let Rational Disconnect scream into the void. I don't know if they're a YouTuber or what they are. Oh, they have a Patreon and a PayPal. Okay, good for them. That's not what I'm here for. Now you see he tweets out, "Holy baloney, I can't believe this is real." And you have The Last of Us Part 2. Anita Sarkeesian, miss me, she runs the show. The real reason The Last of Us 2 was destroyed, what the heck's going on with Sony? Now, here's a common argument. This is how you get muted by me. If you take a thumbnail, right, and you take it at the most disingenuous possible meaning and act like, oh, they're totally blowing this out of proportion. It's a thumbnail. It's designed to grab attention. It's designed to be exciting and garner a click. Rational Disconnect knows that, but he pretends not to know that. So anyway, what I'm mostly interested in is who it brought to the yard. You see a lot of interesting comments in here, none of which I care to go through. The only ones I care about are Evan Hill, Naughty Dog, Last of Us 2, level designer. My brain melted when they dragged her back out. She visited us once, like 4 years ago, but her magic powers were too strong for our weak designer brains. Somehow she is irrelevant and the most powerful woman in video games at the same time. A fair comment. I don't know how much influence and power Anita Sarkeesian still has, but what we do know is Neil Druckmann strongly enjoys her videos and that she's been to the studio. The level of influence she had on this game, we don't know, but it's a non-zero amount, and it's gaslighting to say that she has an influence thing. And then you see, you know, him posting Geeks and Gamers. This is all he does, basically, is post screenshots. But anyway, again, I guess some of the developers said that they liked her videos. Here he is again. Neil did it 5 years ago. Our studio is vocally, adamantly progressive. Just glad they aren't targeting the women who are actually on the design and narrative team. Why would they target the women on the design team? This is to imply, I'm thinking what Evan Hill is implying here is that people don't like women. It's not that people couldn't possibly dislike the ideas that Anita Sarkeesian has. They just don't like her because she's a woman. And because they're bringing up her, then they must also dislike all the women that work on the narrative and design team. Interesting take, Neil. Or Evan Hill, level designer, Last of Us 2. He also goes on to talk about interesting language here. Oh, wow, that's an official response. So is any of this true? I don't have an issue with the progressive message, but is there any credibility to these claims? Or is it just weird? The Chuds are just obsessive, creepy, and weird. Haha, I love game designer using the word chud. One of us, one of us. So Evan Hill calling customers who are unhappy with some of the Last of Us 2 issues chuds. Now, if you don't know what that word is, it is a word that the far left generally uses. And as far as I can describe, here's Urban Dictionary saying it's an insult frequently used by leftists to deride members of the alt-right or other right-wing groups. It has been used as a sarcastic derision for decades and has only attained a political slant recently, fairly recently. Or are they calling them cannibalistic? I don't understand. I don't understand an insult used primarily by people on the socialist left to describe conservatives, reactionaries, members of the alt-right, libertarians, and even mainstream liberals. Generally, the connotation is very uninteresting and uncool male who contributes very little to society in terms of both productive work and original thought or opinions. The type of person whose hobbies probably include watching Shapiro Owns SJW with Facts and Logic compilations on YouTube, as well as to pleasuring themselves to hentai. They also tend to double as tape recorders. This word has been used in the left-wing circles in the Northeast United States for several years, but was popularized since the podcast of Chapo Trap House. Did you see the guy wearing "It's an Okay to Be White" t-shirt? I can't figure out if he's an open white nationalist or just another chud who doesn't know that that slogan was a dog whistle. Ah, a dog whistle. Well, you know, look, Evan Hill, level designer for The Last of Us 2, obviously entitled to your opinion. I don't think it's a good look that you're out online talking, you know, calling people chuds, potential customers or actual customers of your game. I'm not personally offended by it. I just cover the news, and I think it is news when an employee of Naughty Dog is out on the internet using disparaging terms about anybody who doesn't agree with the narrative direction of their video game. But that's just one man's opinion. I guess you could tell me if you think it's cool that they're out there doing it. Again, it's a complex situation because I don't want people to work for a company to not be able to air their opinions. But what comes with that is people being able to comment on it and disagree with it. And that's all I'm here to do. I don't think the guy should be fired. I don't think any of that should happen. I do think that whatever backlash happens from this is reasonable because people don't like being called names by employees of corporations. But I guess I'll wait and read your comments in the comment section down below. I'm sure this will go well for Naughty Dog. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.